I F28 accidentally found my sister's F32 old diary and found out that she's hated me our entire lives by nooonmoon. Before anyone states the obvious, I know that it's wrong to read someone's diary. However, I'll just say that I did not by any means go on some search for it or look through her stuff to find it. Actually, it was in my mother's room and I'm 100% sure she's gone through it too. My niece 3F, my sister's daughter, was playing around with it and I assumed it was one of my mom's household accounts book. So I tried to take it from her, but then when I opened the first page, I saw my name written on it and just could not stop reading. The date was old too, starting from 2014. So I assumed it was just some old stuff and nothing meaningful, but again that does not mean that it was okay for me to read it, and I'll admit that it was an awful breach of privacy and that it was better to leave some can of worms unopened. For context, me and my sister have never had a good relationship even as kids. She's always been mean to me even when I wanted us to do typical sibling bonding stuff. And I never understood why she was this way or why we couldn't have a normal relationship like other siblings did. Later on as adults she finally admitted that she was and still is jealous of me because I was always the baby of the family and doted on by both of our parents, and that she's always been resentful of the fact that I got better grades, was more popular and in general got more attention. Okay, fair enough, I could see her point, but even after that open conversation that day, her behavior still hadn't changed, and after a huge argument last year, we are no longer on speaking terms. But anyway, back to the diary. It started from 2014 and ended around 2019, and it was just page after page of how much she hated me, how I always got away with everything, how she was always underappreciated for being the good kid, and how life was always unfair to her while I always had good things happen to me without trying. I felt very sad and sympathetic as I read through it, but then the tone became more hateful. When I had my first major heartbreak and cried about it to my mom, she wrote about how happy she was that I finally got what I deserved after having a superiority complex all my life. And then when I tried to take my own life, she wrote about how disappointed she was that I couldn't go through with it and that she couldn't wait for the crazy self-unaliving B-word to go away. And after that, every single time something bad happened to me she would write about how happy she was and THQT it was the best day of her life and that she hoped I would never find any kind of peace or happiness in my life. What the hell did I do to deserve such hatred from my own sister? I knew she hated me, but to think that it went to the extent of wishing I would never be happy or unalive the F-word? I don't even remember half of the stuff she mentioned. In fact, I remembered that I used to stand up for her when we were kids, telling other kids not to pick on her, or that I used up my first paycheck to buy a coat for her that she wanted for so long, or that I would offer to babysit her kids when she was busy. And all she wrote in her diary was about I was trying to show off how much money I had or act like I was kind when I was the ethicist person she knew. Even after all that, we still had a massive argument last year in which she called me a crazy depressed B-word and that I should stay away from her kids because I was a drug addict and dangerous. What the heck? I have diagnosed major depressive disorder and have taken antidepressants for it for over 10 years. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink. How could she say all that? I thought we were beyond this childish jealousy, but I guess not. After reading the diary, I just burst into tears and cried for hours. Now all I feel is numb and angry all over. We're already not on speaking terms, but now knowing what I know, I can't shake off this new feeling of bitterness. I only stay in contact with my sis because I love my nieces, but now I feel that it's going to be difficult for me. Honestly, I'm just heartbroken in a way I never thought I could be. I really don't know what to do now since I feel like my relationship with my sister is already beyond any hope of salvation. I know that the diary is a decade old, but I know that her feelings towards me have not changed. I just want us to have normal sibling bond, but now I know for a fact that's not going to happen. Any advice, guys, on how to deal with my emotions? And please, I already know it's my fault for even reading her diary in the first place, but I never expected her to harbor this level of hatred for me.